Hey guys, welcome back to Sports with Mono and Mono. It's April 24th, 2021. Here with my partner, my favorite time of the week, so we're glad to be back with you.
Yes, we are. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Beautiful Saturday spring day here in North Jersey.
Spectacular. The 80s are on the horizon in the Northeast.
You know what I did yesterday?
No.
I actually watched a baseball game.
I watched a bunch of baseball games.
Well, live, right down the road from me, around the corner.
Good.
Our alma mater, the St. Joseph Green Knights freshman baseball team, took on the Indian Hills Braves.
Oh, of Oakland, New Jersey.
Yes, with many of the boys that I've coached over the last decade, if you will. And the Green Knights were up 8-1. And the Indian Hills Braves came back and made it a ball game.
Wow. You got
8-7 final.
You got your money's worth.
And the Braves had the winning run on third base, or at least the tying run was on third base. But it was nice, you know.
Little
Good
nostalgia
weather.
with
Sure.
Indian Hills and your old alma mater,
Absolutely,
St. Joe's,
yeah.
and Bergen County
Yeah, so
tournament.
for me it was special. I got a lot of comments. I did wear this St. Joe. I'm wearing a St. Joe's hoodie as we speak. So it was nice. I went on the St. Joe's side and the Indian Hills side. So I felt important, if you will.
And, you know, I'm sure you deserved it.
Yeah,
You know,
it was fun.
former Michael Kramer Award winner.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
And it's funny you brought that up, and this was not even scripted, because on the way over, I passed Edward Delmore Field in Oakland, New Jersey, and we talked about this for over a year.
Yeah.
There were little league games going on, and guys bustling and hustling, and
Yeah.
you know what? I wonder if the parents enjoy it more than the kids.
Well,
But the
everybody's enjoying it to get out. I can tell you that.
But I talked about it specifically, saying I was driving past it, and there was 10 fields down there, and they were all barren.
Well, I just got a text message from one of our loyal listeners, Greg Paravati, big Ranger fan, so on and so forth.
Yeah, good fan of the show.
Right. And Greg said, hey, I just saw your brother drive by. His son is playing baseball today. So I said, yeah, we're about to do the show, and so on and so forth. So.
Well, listen, welcome back, everybody, and there's a lot of stuff we want to talk about today. But first and foremost, our show today is sponsored by Coriano Trucking.
Yes, it is.
Of Summerhill, New York, and I have some good news to report that our sponsor, who, you know, has been battling a medical condition, is, I guess, back up and at him. You can't keep this guy down. He's a bulldog, you know, but he's out of danger, and we're so grateful for his sponsorship of the show, and and he's back in.
It's good news. That guy is out of the hospital and resting comfortably at home. So, good news.
So, we're on some baseball talk. How about Major League Baseball?
Well, I have a monologue, don't I?
We do. Have at it.
And ironically, it's about baseball.
Okay. What a shot.
It's about a specific pitcher in particular who plays for the New York Mets. His name is Jacob deGrom. And again, last night, we're witnessing greatness that it's one of the few times you can appreciate the greatness that you're seeing and know you're seeing this greatness. So what does he do again last night? 6-0 shutout, strikes out a career-high 15, threw a two-hitter, had 2 hits, the go-ahead double, etc., etc. Right?
Yep.
Also, as great as this guy has been, the 2-time Cy Young Award winner, he's 33 years old. He has 43 strikeouts in his last 3 outings and 50 to start the season, breaking the Major League record for most by a pitcher in the first 4 starts, which was only done last year by Cleveland's Shane Bieber, who had 48. Also, we know that deGrom should have so many more wins because of the lack of run support. It's nuts, okay? But here's another interesting thing. His career earned run average, take a wild guess. Career.
2.3.
That's a good guess. 2.55. And you know what he's done for the New York Mets? He just overtook a Hall of Famer whose career earned run average by the name of Tom Seaver.
I've heard of him.
For the franchise is 2.57. But the point is about this DeGrom, I mean, this guy is lights out, man. When we talked about Kershaw during his stretch, right? I think this is the best stretch of pitching I've seen over years. This guy is, like you always say, pack your bags, you're going to the Hall of Fame. There's no question Jacob deGrom is so special.
Excellent monologue. And actually, it was in my topics to discuss with you. And, you know, I've been on Gerrit Cole. I've actually made the statement. I think he's the best pitcher in baseball. It's not that I've changed my mind, because nothing you've said to me surprises me. This guy has been lights out.
He's the best pitcher in baseball.
He is the best pitcher in baseball right now. And you're right.
And has been.
50 strikeouts of his first 4 starts has never happened before. And you're right. He's even hitting the ball. But I watched it. I watched him last night, and I said, wow. Exactly. Great line. Pack your bags. You're going to the Hall of Fame, because if he stays healthy, this is...
But he's also one of the pitchers that, you know, that's a rare breed of, you know it's coming. Good luck hitting it.
Exactly.
I mean, that's
the Mariano Rivera scenario.
That's the test of greatness.
Right.
Right? And this guy's got multiple pitches.
Yep.
Throws hard. He really doesn't get hurt.
Exactly.
You know, he's been on the DL every now and then. I get it.
And you know what sports with Mono and Mono always advocates? He's a good kid.
Oh, he's
I mean,
solid.
And when you get that combination, you know.
Ever since he got the haircut.
So listen, he is right now the best pitcher in baseball. No
question.
question about it. Good monologue, Steve. Sticking with baseball, how about this? The Oakland A's started 0-6, and we said, oh, maybe this is finally, you know, the Billy Ball or whatever is over,
Ball.
You know, Moneyball. And then they rattle off 12 straight wins. That's.
I'm not surprised, because the A's have done this multiple times.
They do.
Even watching Moneyball. What did they win? 17 in a row or something, or 19 or something?
And they're in the mix year after year with the lowest
But
payroll.
at Moneyball, you had to credit Philip Seymour Hoffman as the manager. I'm kidding.
The casting was so bad, but the movie was worth watching.
Totally.
Right? Because we knew what they were talking about.
Right, Philip, let me see your best Art Howe.
Right.
What are you kidding? I want you to play him. I'm not playing how to play.
Oh, you wanted that Marine Colonel Army to play, you know, Art Howe with the crew cut, you know, flat top.
Lee Army.
But that's a good story. And here's another good story. Fernando Tatis Jr. hit 2 home runs.
Yeah.
On the anniversary.
22nd anniversary
Of his father hitting 2 grand slams in 1 inning.
Which is still the most ridiculous thing, man.
But here's even make it even more ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
Hit it off the same pitcher, Chan Ho Park. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I know, that's pretty interesting, though, right? And listen, we want
But
to
it can't be the same Chan Ho Park. It's got to be the same name.
How many Chan Ho Parks have pitched?
Well, that would mean
Major
Chan
League?
Ho Park is going into his 22nd year pitching, and I don't believe that to be the case.
No. I think Chan Ho Park gave up the 2 grand slams.
Oh yeah, to Dad.
Right, not last night with Tatis Jr.
Oh, all right. I thought that's what you were alluding to.
That's why we don't have notes, folks. This is all off the shoulder, right?
That's why we talk about it.
Right? But listen, we want to give a shout out while we're on Major League Baseball, right? Giancarlo Stanton hit a couple of monsters last night.
Oh, he did.
I mean, that one got out of the ballpark fast, and I've ever seen
when he
a
hits
home run.
those low rockets, they go out. But it was nice to see. I mean,
you know, maybe they're starting to get back into the swing of things, because everybody on that team is not hitting. You know,
again,
except your guy, DJ.
I had a conversation about the Yankees. You know, several people. Listen, if they're going to have a stretch of 15 games where they couldn't play them any worse,
Exactly.
I'd rather do this in April.
Of course, exactly.
Of course.
It's 140 games to go.
I get it. So, you know, they're too good to not
Yep.
the bats to wake up. But Stanton, again, I mean, he can't stay healthy. I would love for this guy to stay healthy and
Let's just hope Judge doesn't have another core injury, or general fatigue. How about that?
yeah.
But listen, before we move off Major League Baseball, we want to give a shout out to quote unquote Hall of Famer Jay Bruce retired. Not Hall of Famer, obviously, but
listen, people
he's hit a lot of home runs in his career.
Yeah, people are like kind of mocking him out. I'm like, what are you kidding? I go, Jay Bruce had a more than serviceable major league career with the Reds,
but he hasn't done anything,
no,
even when
it's
he was
fine.
with the Mets.
No, he was.
But how did he make the team? That's what people go say. What about Boone? Boone, the manager.
It's because he hit in spring training. That's all. But he's shot, and it's time to retire.
And he did.
But people are like talking about Jay Bruce like Steve Balboni or something.
No,
I'm seriously.
How many home runs does Bruce have? At least 300, maybe something like that.
Jay Bruce had a serviceable career.
He had a few good years, but that could have been the baseball too. Brady Anderson hit like 50 home runs one year, right?
Yeah, but that was all steroids, and everybody knows
live
that.
ball, steroids. Come on.
No, Brady Anderson. That was steroid. Same thing with Brett Boone. Let's be real. Brett Boone too took steroids. So let's not.
Yeah, he was a scrapper too. Yeah. But listen, let's move on to the NBA. The Harden, the Kevin Durant, the Kyrie Irving thing, they don't seem to play together, but I've said this all along. They're resting these guys for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are now back on, the Milwaukee Bucks, taking the Eastern Conference, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again.
Yeah.
It's going to be the Nets and the Lakers. But I tell you, I watched the game last night. Kyrie Irving was like
let's just get back to Jay Bruce. I didn't mean to cut you off. You asked the question.
Go ahead. I'm going to say 325.
No, good guess. 319.
Okay.
Career 244, 951 RBIs. Right?
With a liability in the field.
Three-time All-Star.
Yeah.
All right, and his career was from 2008 to 21. To me, that's more than serviceable major league career.
I didn't dispute it, but I said
I'm just saying, because of the way he just finished, people that don't know Jay Bruce.
But I was surprised he even made the roster. They got a lot of young talent in the Yankees organization.
So now they called up Mike Ford, and Mike Ford can afford to eat in steakhouses again.
Good mustache, like Magnum mustache. Right? But listen, when we're talking about the NBA, how about this? And I didn't know this, that Indiana University offered Brad Stevens this monster contract to take over that program.
Yeah.
And he's sticking with the Celtics. Steve and I, full disclosure, always been, as you know, Bobby Knight, Indiana fan. That would have been a good fit.
Listen, I give Indiana all the credit for making the call.
Yeah, but he's turned down a lot of jobs since he's taken over the Celtics.
The hire they made, Mike Woodson is a really good.
We talked about it. I like it too.
Listen, he's all Indiana.
Yep.
He's one of Bobby Knight's favorites.
Yep.
He came on the scene right after the perfect 76 team. So. I think Woodson...
was he on the Isaiah Thomas team?
I think he was, yeah. He was. Okay. Yeah. So Mike Woodson was not only a really good basketball player, but, the last time the Knicks were relevant was under Mike Woodson, who they had 1 year, right? Before this, the ridiculous stretch that they've been on.
Yeah.
But the Knicks, whoa.
I got it.
8 in a row.
I know. And I'm going to take a step back and... We talked about it on the show when they hired Tom Thibodeau, and I like him. But I got to say, the most surprising player in the NBA is this guy Randall. He's actually playing unbelievable. He's been in the league for 8 years. Where was this guy? Is he really that good, or is he having his Cinderella slipper season?
I mean, Julius Randle, we remember him at Kentucky, right?
Yep.
Diaper dandy, baby. That type of thing.
Clean the glass.
Right. Right. So, to your point, first-round draft pick of the Lakers did not, nowhere
No, he
near
hasn't
playing.
done anything like,
He hasn't
like
done
he's
anything.
playing like this year.
So, but I can't think of a player who's done nothing and now is averaging what he's averaging and playing out of his mind, and scoring 40 points
And you always
and an all around game. And listen, this guy is MVP worthy,
top 10 anyway.
worthy
I mean,
talk.
you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Not MVP, obviously.
Yeah,
That's
MVP.
going to your guy that you don't like, Joel Embiid. He's going to be the
I'm
guy.
not saying he's going to win it, but he's definitely in the discussion.
I'm telling you, that's
That's
why
all.
I conceded, saying I kept thinking, the first 3-4 games he was lighting it up, going, everybody gets their 15 minutes,
sure,
right?
sure.
But he's been consistent all along. But I tried to watch the Nets Celtics. Celtics came back from like 14 down with like less than 3 minutes to go, and Nets ended up winning. But it's almost unwatchable. It's almost unwatchable. I gotta say.
And back to Julius Randle. I mean, all season long I've been waiting for. Julius Randle didn't show up for the game or something. Been waiting for that storyline. But to his credit,
Pulled an Icky Woods or something. Yeah, right.
it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But the Knicks are, listen, they're playing really good basketball.
Yeah.
And again, I'm just happy that they're relevant. RJ Barrett is progressing nicely. They got some nice talent. This Quigley kid is really good.
And Tibbs running the show.
And Tibbs running the show and holding them accountable, and they're
like
actually
it.
playing defense.
Yep. So listen, basketball is underway. How many games left? 20 maybe,
Yeah,
or something like that.
yeah.
Let's move on to the NFL, Steve. And I'll give this to you because he's a former Cowboy. Hope everything's well with Alden Smith.
Yeah.
Right? How many chances can one person get?
Guess what? I don't care anymore because that it's actually a sign of goodness for Dallas that we got rid of him in the nick of time.
Good.
It was like a week.
And if he did what he's alleged to have done, we've seen this movie before.
I'm sure it was
He's
a
mess.
misunderstanding of some sorts down in, for him to choke somebody in New Orleans.
One thing that came up, Alex Smith retired.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of talk about it, and Steve and I have talked about it on the show, and we had some feedback from Jim Walsh on that as well.
Jimbo.
But send us an email at sportswithmanoandmano@gmail.com. But I wanted to bring it up because that 30 for 30 special was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Comeback story of all time, probably, in the NFL. And he finally retired. I think it's just too much strain on that leg. But what a story. What a career. I always liked the guy.
Yeah,
and I wish him good luck.
Absolutely. Alex Smith is impeccable character.
He was. Class act, and that's big on our show.
I remember
for sure.
watching him at Utah under Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
He's 37 years old. Time flies.
Number one pick in the NFL
You better
draft.
believe it. And Alex Smith, hey, wish him well, and
me too.
job well done.
Me too.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about that, we just brought it up that Alex Smith was the number one overall pick, right? We know who that's going to be this year, Trevor Lawrence. But I wanted to bring this up because I'm getting tired of it. I can't wait for the draft on Thursday night. But I wanted to bring this to Steve's attention, saying, of all of these quarterbacks, and everyone's debating on who's going to move up to get this, out of the group, who is the next best thing after Trevor Lawrence? Is it Justin Fields? Is it Mac Jones? Is it Trey Lance? What do you think? Who's going to be, or Zach Wilson? He's going to be the second pick. Who's going to be the second or the third quarterback taken after those two?
If
What do you think?
if I had to rank them, and I said on the show last week, I think they're slotted correctly.
Would you take a flyer on a Trey Lance, a D2 quarterback?
I would say Justin Fields probably would have the most upside after Trevor Lawrence.
But you're not worried about the Haskins effect, like Ohio State quarterbacks play this way?
Justin Fields, I think of him more like Kyler Murray. He's bigger than Kyler Murray, don't get me wrong, but he has the ability to run and throw like a Kyler Murray. So I would rank him second. However, the Jets have fallen, like we've talked about, they've fallen in love with Zach Wilson, and they're all in on Zach Wilson.
Exactly.
Now, Tony, our loyal listener out on the West Coast, responded back.
San Francisco 49ers
Yes,
fan, Tony.
I told Tony that Mac Jones is coming, and I don't think Tony's too happy with Mac Jones coming. So, but he's coming.
I know you're a big fan of his.
Tony, I will say there is a small percentage that maybe it's a smokescreen and they're all in on Justin Fields.
And I got a text from one of my
I think Mac Jones is.
But I got a text from a loyal listener. He's a Patriots fan, Tyler, friend of mine, and he's a Patriots fan. And he said, "I said they may move up to take Mac Jones," and he says, "Listen, I could have had 100 QB rating with that offensive line at Alabama." And I said, "Well said, well said."
That's a valid point, but I don't agree with that.
How about we do this?
I don't agree with that.
This little mini new segment, miss or can't miss? Justin Fields. One word.
Can't miss.
Trey Lance.
Don't know anything about him.
I know a little bit about him. He's pretty good. He's got some tools.
I'm not going to give an opinion on somebody. I can't say I've watched film on.
Mac
or
Jones.
anything. I think Mac Jones is going to be just fine.
So that's
a can't miss. Yeah, especially if he goes to San Francisco.
There you go, Tony. Send the feedback to the show. We'll talk about it next week. That Steve's had
Tony, I was an ex-quarterback, just so you know, so I kind of know a little bit about this subject.
And I'm going to say, as a Giants fan, they have to find an offensive lineman in this draft.
I think they will. You can get him in the second, third round.
What do you think the Cowboys are going to do? D-back again?
Yeah,
No?
yeah. I mean, I don't think guys are going to drop where, like, the only guy would be Kyle Pitts offensively, but he's not going to be there.
He's not going to be there.
So I'll be happy with Patrick Surtain the second or this Farley kid, Caleb Farley.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say from the Cowboys' perspective, they always do something different than what you expected. I could see them taking a linebacker, Micah Parsons from Penn State.
Nah, I don't see it.
I'm just putting it out there.
The only other offensive guy they may take if he falls is Rashard Slater. I think he's from Northwestern.
Yeah.
Offensive lineman, because we talked about last week. There's Pinay, Sewell, the Bengals.
Looks like a can't miss.
Bengals at number 5 are absolutely.
But we used to think Eric Flowers was a couldn't miss either, right? It was...
You may have.
Hey, on draft night, anything you need helps, right?
Yeah, right.
Well. All right, listen.
Looking forward to see who's got a Bond mask on this week.
Oh my God, that he's still making a fortune in the NFL.
Yeah,
right? What was his name?
Laramie Tunsil. He's considered
right?
the best offensive lineman in the game.
Well, we think that until the Chiefs traded for Orlando Brown Jr. from the Ravens.
I saw. Eric Fisher got hurt before the Super Bowl, and they cut him.
They actually cut almost their whole offensive line after the Super Bowl.
That's what you do.
How about those drop passes? I don't hang that.
That's it
on that offensive line. So listen, NHL. Right, I watched the Ranger game last night, Rangers Flyers. It doesn't have that lore that it once did, but I got to say, the Rangers have a goaltender controversy. Shesterkin, Georgiev. Georgiev had an unbelievable game last night. Rangers should have lost, but good scrap in middle of the ice. Kevin Rooney, and Couturier.
The Rangers have been playing very well, especially over the last 22 games. I think they're like, I don't know, 15-4-2, something like that.
What, their overall record?
No, over the last 22 games.
Yeah, because now
they took it on the chin against the Islanders.
They did.
Midweek.
Islanders look really good, too,
Islanders did look good. But, again, I think the Rangers, we're like 5 games over 500, which is very good.
Yeah, they made a good comeback.
But I just don't, again, because we've talked about it all year. The 4 teams ahead of them keep winning. And we're always like 4 or 5 points behind.
And the Vegas Golden Knights are the first team to clinch a playoff spot in this whatever thing. But
the Vegas Golden Knights, as an expansion team,
has been unbelievable.
Yeah, they haven't missed the playoffs. I don't think.
Didn't they make the Cup Finals?
Oh yeah, they made the Cup Finals. yes, they did. That's what happens when you get the pick of the best players of every team, but that's what you do with a franchise.
Yeah, but that doesn't usually work out across.
I'll give them credit.
Baseball expansion, right? The Rays and the Mariners.
I think it's George McPhee running that. Remember McPhee from the Rangers.
Boy, he was a scrapper and a
One
half.
of our favorite.
Now he's like the general manager of the NHL, for God's sakes.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Big George McPhee fan.
But here, I wanted to bring something up with the NHL because this kind of blew me away because we're on the East Coast, so we don't see this team play a lot. Patrick Marleau just broke the Gordy Howe's all-time record for most games played in the NHL. How about that?
That's a good one.
If I phrase it as a question, would you have come up with Patrick Marleau in the top 20?
No. You know, Patrick Marleau, I remember him as a baby with the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah.
And he's not a baby anymore. So apparently...
he played in his 1,768th game to break Gordy Howe's record.
That's a good one.
And we're talking about Gordy Howe, who we remember playing for the Hartford Whalers when he was like 45.
56.
You know? He wasn't 56.
Might as well be.
He was old.
Yeah, I think he played till he was 52 or 53.
If somebody asked me who has played in the most all-time games, I obviously would have said Gordy Howe. Lanny McDonald, somebody like that. You know, those kind of guys.
There was a guy, what was his name? Bob Gould.
For the Canadians?
He played for the Capitals and so on. I mean, there's a ton of names you could throw out there.
But now the number
But
one
you're right,
all-time.
like a Lanny McDonald type.
Guys that were there forever.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know? Patrick Marleau, congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a big record.
I would think Joe Thornton's got to start, probably up there. I mean, Joe Thornton's...
He's still playing.
Yeah, he's got to be over 20 years in the league, too. Seriously.
Yeah. But NHL, there's 10 games left. Playoffs are going to start, and we saw how exciting it was. It was really the only game in town during COVID last year, right? And it was awesome, right?
Yeah.
The Stanley Cup Finals was excellent.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good talent. Your guy that you've been touting all year, Lafreniere, scored a beautiful, beautiful goal last night. Like it was like Guy Lafleur or Gretzky managing the puck. It was great. Great.
Now, listen, people are going to look at Lafreniere and say, you know, he didn't have 30 goals, and, you know,
He's got 9 now.
I was just going to say, it'd be lucky if he has 10. I am not concerned about this kid at all.
He's a whopping, 18, 19 years old?
Once he gets on the line, that's the line. Like, this kid is just...
Looks like Kris Kringle from the Christmas Story, right? In the green suit, right? Looks just like
he does.
Dead ringer. Dead ringer. So, listen, enjoy that. But, Steve, let's move on. Our next to last segment is sponsored by Lynch Toyota of Manchester, Connecticut.
Lynch.
And haven't seen them in a while, but I know they're servicing their customers, and thank them again for their sponsorship. Guess what's coming up next weekend?
Guess what I am now? I'm a zit.
Get
it?
The Kentucky Derby.
Yes, I believe next week.
Next Saturday is the first Saturday in May, which means the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
It was ran not on May 1st last year, but it's back in business, and we're excited about it.
Yeah.
You know, we've had a pretty good run with our Derby picks over the
Winston.
Tis the law.
Tis the law.
I go all the way back to, remember, when Strike the Gold, but still, the best horse race ever. Never be topped. The Secretariat's winning the Belmont.
Right, I was just going to say, when I was 8, I called the Secretariat to win by.
I was 10. I'm watching the race.
Exactly.
But the Derby's coming up, and I'm going to give a couple of my... it's still a week away, so you never know how it's going to form out. Here's my picks.
There we go.
And Corey should be taking notes here, right?
C, Corey.
Here's my horses. Known Agenda's the favorite, and rightfully so. Undefeated this year. Not going with it to win. I'm going with Hot Rod Charlie and Medina Spirit.
I'm going with the favorite.
But I can't wait for this race. And
I'm going with the undefeated.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you got the best jockeys, you got the best horses. It's Kentucky Derby Day, and I can't wait until next
You
week.
think Churchill Downs can't wait? I mean, Churchill Downs, oh my God.
Yeah, they've been starving.
Starving for this.
I know.
I mean, that, again, we've talked about, like, venues that have been affected by COVID and so on. Yeah, especially the Kentucky Derby. This is their one, this is it. This is their moneymaker.
I don't know. Are they going full capacity for this? I didn't
Well,
even see it,
they'll be-
actually.
There's going to be thousands in there.
Here's the question. Do the horses have to wear masks?
Yeah, right. That's a good
That's
question.
a bit, I'm
No,
just doing a bit.
No,
yeah.
I think the infield will be, I don't know, full capacity. And the reason I say that is, we talked about the Texas Rangers home opener, right? And they allowed a lot of people.
They did.
Right? Did you know Alabama's spring game?
It was packed.
Guess how many?
I don't know.
48,000.
For a spring practice.
Well, the spring game.
Listen,
So my point is, if 48,000 go to an Alabama spring game,
I know, but they're packing NASCAR stadiums. I could see them opening
Yeah.
the gates at the Kentucky
Sure.
Derby.
Yeah. So it should have the feel of the Kentucky Derby, is what my point.
But we are going to do our Kentucky Derby special next Saturday.
Yes, we are.
And we'll see who's going to be there because a lot can change in the week. But you got the, Louisiana Derby, you got the Florida Derby, you got the Santa Anita Derby. These are the horses that are in, but they're all prepping for this. The
We'll
Super
do
Bowl
our
of horse
homework
racing.
all week, and we'll give the picks. But as of now, my favorite would be the favorite.
And what you were talking about before, I talked to one of my dear friends who lives up in Saratoga. Saratoga is planning on opening up that racetrack. And it was heartbreaking that wasn't open last year.
Again, to the point of the Churchill Downs. Saratoga took it on the chin last summer, too.
And Saratoga racing is for 6 weeks, but it's one of the most beautiful places on the planet. And it looks like they're opening the gates, so we'll see. But we're going to talk more about the Kentucky Derby next week. So, Corey, do your homework, kid. We're trying to help you here.
See. I saw Corey last week. And, Corey, he's all in on the Kentucky Derby. And we may be watching it there again.
Well, I was going to say.
Right, Corey?
I thought that became a tradition.
No, I think we are.
One and counting.
Oh, God. What a venue.
Hey, let us know. And put the 75-inch plasma outside.
Right.
Can't wait for that, though. And listen, before we wrap up, notable passings. And again, Steve, we've been in a pretty good stretch here. There's not a lot of names on the list, but one, and it was Fritz Mondale.
Fritz Mondale, who
Former presidential candidate.
former vice president of the United States, who got absolutely
Annihilated.
by Ronald Wilson Reagan in 1984.
Oh, God. Makes it look like Dukakis almost.
Oh,
man,
my
right?
God. Yeah. But former senator from Minnesota forever, Fritz Mondale. I mean, we're having fun with him, but Fritz Mondale was a good guy. And,
Career politician, no question.
Nobody can really say anything bad about him.
I always had this vision of him, though, the way he looked, and it was just he had martinis like Churchill before he came out to the press podium.
No doubt. Like, as a sports handicapper, I swear to God, back then, you take Reagan in a murdering him.
I know.
And he murdered him.
It was awesome, though. He was a career politician,
He was.
very
Geraldine
prominent.
Ferraro, was the,
Landmark,
Yeah,
first time a woman was on the ballot,
Right.
which has since been surpassed since Kamala
Yeah.
Harris is now president.
Yeah.
But Fritz, R.I.P.
I don't even know who that is, but okay.
From the state of Minnesota, right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Make
So
sure I
that
get-
is a notable passing. 94?
93.
93.
Yeah.
Again, I thought he was 93.
No, I actually thought he was like 68 when he was running, But it looked like he had some sauce before he went on the air. That's for
Nah,
sure.
but actually I think that was Reagan's, Reagan got off to a very tough debate. His first debate, because again, Reagan, was freaking 76 years old, and there were early just signs of Alzheimer.
What, Biden signs?
Yeah, but
Go ahead.
but Reagan, his line that came back was, about Mondale being youthful, right?
Oh, exploiting his youth?
Yeah, that type of thing, right?
I'm not going to use youth as as an opportunity. I will never exploit it.
Your youth or whatever,
Exactly.
that type of thing.
Good quote.
But
I could do my Reagan. Oh,
yeah, it's a tough one. Well,
what I thought I was doing. But anyway, so it's a short list for notable passings. One thing I wanted to bring up before we sign off this week was women's hockey. And one of our old football coaches had some daughters that played hockey.
I believe it.
Bert Ammerman, right? But
And his daughters played at Wisconsin.
right, but I guess what they call the Worlds, that's the women's, Stanley Cup. And actually that was a quote from one of the players that they postponed it because Canada's got very, very strict COVID restrictions.
Yeah.
So they canceled that, and it was a good quote. She said, "This is our Stanley Cup. This is heartbreaking to us." But the U.S. women's hockey team, I just wanted to bring that up because that's an interesting thing. When you're tied to Canada right now, they've pretty much stayed locked down.
I'm glad you brought that up. Regarding notable passings, one that I'm finding is still affecting me. I don't know why. I keep thinking about him. Is Mark Pavlich.
Yeah,
For the Rangers.
they ruled it a suicide.
Yeah,
actually.
they did.
Yeah.
I feel so bad that that's
Sure.
how his life ended.
Sure.
But
It's like a Mike Webster story.
but he was
thing.
the reason I bring that up is Pavlich was, for whatever reason, was one of my favorite players on that Olympic team. Like
He was awesome.
and then he became a New York Ranger,
Yeah.
right? The 5-goal game he had, and so on and so forth. But I just wanted to say that as a Ranger fan, and for some reason, I still think about Mark Pavlich like 3 weeks after it's happened, and
Yeah.
I feel bad about that.
That's a good thing. And actually, it's funny that you brought that up because there was a former football player that you and I admired on the '85 Bears, Steve McMichael.
Yeah.
Was just diagnosed with ALS. I mean,
Yeah.
And again, do we tie it to the sport? We don't know. But he was actually a good football player. I would have put him in the Hall of Fame before I put
going to
Dan
say that.
Hampton
You
in the
better-
Hall
Yeah,
of
you
Fame.
better believe that. I mean, we remember Steve McMichael at Texas. He won the Outland Trophy.
And he gets no love at the Hall of Fame thing, and Hampton gets in on the first ballot. A disgrace. But my heart goes out to him. Because,
Anybody who's afflicted with ALS, that's
and he was part of the one of maybe the best defense
They
of
were.
our generation.
They were.
For sure. So,
they were.
but listen, folks, thanks for joining us, and please send us an email at sportswithmano@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Our fans out there, Jim Walsh, where are you? Tony, welcome back.
Yep.
And we can't wait to talk to you because next week's Kentucky Derby Saturday.
You better believe it. So we'll look forward to seeing you guys next week. And
Thanks for joining
thanks
us
for
this week.
joining us. As always, we appreciate it. And have a great week.
You too, guys. Thanks.